Welcome, people of the World Wide Web. So it is Cypher Sigma here. It is the weekend, as always, as the video and title would say. This is F1, the movie. So anybody who's living under a rock hasn't seen any merchandise or any advertisement for this movie. This is the latest directorial creation, so to speak, from Joseph Kosinski, formerly from Maverick, obviously the Top Gun, and Tron Legacy. This is essentially a isolated story. There is nothing after the credits, and it is 2 hours and 35 minutes. And it is essentially, you have Brad Pitt's character of Sonny Hayes and his friend Ruben, played by Javier Bardem. These have been friends for a long time, and due to certain circumstances in his life, Sonny has basically been going around from different motorsports, trying them out to try and wins one, then goes on to the next one. And he's been doing that for a long time. They do some 24-hour racing. I'm not the big on that side of things. So he wins one, he goes to a laundrette, and then his mate Ruben turns up and essentially says, look, I own this team in Formula One. We've been doing it for 3 years. We haven't won any points. I need you to come on and help my my new young driver, Joseph Pierce. And essentially it's him coming on and them kind of these two personalities coming together, trying to bring the brand and the franchise round, because obviously if they don't get any points by the end of the season, it gets sold and everybody loses a lot of money and jobs and stuff like this. And I did enjoy it, I'll put it that much. So we'll put the spoiler wall up and we'll get into it. So as I said, the movie starts, we have Sonny, he is in his trailer. You get some weird mix, you get some like signs of waves and racing, and you realise it's kind of replicate from what Sonny's listening to. Sonny gets kind of woken out of his days, says he's on, and he's doing his 24-hour racing one. It's his turn. They're in like 7th. He gets on, and you just see how good of a racer he is. He's passing people and everything else. Not necessarily in the most conventional ways. You know, he does like to play a little bit dirty, so to speak. And that is how it goes. His team end up winning a race. You can see they're all celebrating. His doesn't really care. He kind of goes off. The head of this team basically offer him position. He says, I'm not fussy, I came, I got my win, that's it. And he goes off to a laundrette in his little van, and that's it. This is when we get introduced to Javier Bardem's Ruben. He comes in, there's kind of a awkward conversation between them till you realise they're joking and lifelong friends. And then Javier explains, or Ruben explains, that he's got his company, it's been 3 years, he's 350 million in the hole, in debt essentially, if his team don't win in one of the 9 races, then he is in a lot of trouble. He knows his mate is really, really good. He was in Formula One many years ago, and you find a little bit of backstory about that in between. Gives him a ticket, says it's your choice, even though he's saying no, and goes off. And then we get introduced to the team, and you get to see Joshua Pierce, and he's obviously racing around the track trying to do stuff. They've got this new car, it's not handling him well, and everyone's kind of, you can tell they don't gel. There's all these different personalities and little characters behind the scenes of the pit crew and stuff, and they're all not getting on. This is then Sonny turns up and everybody's like, who the hell is this? This is where Ruben says that, he's here for audition. Everybody's like, what? Okay, he's going to go out in the race car. He's like, no, we're auditioning for him. And he was like the 9th choice, and there's a running gag. He goes out, starts to get better as the track goes on, and then wipes out the car just before the final kind of passing the finishing line on a fast lap. But they say that he met the requirements, so he's in. He was good enough to basically, he beat Pierce's time by 1/10 of a second. I think at least that was the agreement. This is where then you had the story of kind of the team them being these two personalities of JP, Joseph Pierce, and Sonny. Sonny's very old school. He has all this experience and stuff, and this finds of when they go out, obviously the car isn't great. And the first 1 or 2 races, at the end of the day, he's doing these little kind of sneaky little tricks to try and help them build points and stuff like this. And he's very clever how he does it in his experience. And obviously the young lad is just impatient. So there's a lot of back and forth and stuff like this between the two of them. There kind of is a respect, but there's not, and there's other elements into it. And then they kind of start to come together until several races in. Sonny sets basically Joseph up for the win. He tells him this is what he needs to do. He ignores his thing, ends up crashing. The car's on fire. Sonny stops, pulls him out, and he gets hurt. And he's basically hurt his hands. I can't race for the next few races. They then bring in this substitute. And then this is when kind of the big divide comes of when Josh JP comes back. Sonny's very much aligned with the pit crew. They're all doing little runs around the track and something, and there's all this connection there and this, and he is very good at what he does. Sonny is a good driver and something. And JP comes back, and because he worries that the team won't get the win and he'll lose he's kind of out to make a name for himself because he is a young lad there and he has something to prove. This ends up being that when they come back, they should be on the same page. There's an altercation, two cars collide, and JP knocks Sonny off. Sonny's very annoyed about this. There are issues and stuff that go off. He's like, you need to sort yourself out. Then it goes down to one of the last few, I think it's race 8. They then go back to, as they go to start the race, they find out that someone has been tweaking the car as the film goes on. Their new design fin that they've designed and stuff, someone's leaked some documents saying that it was faked and stuff like this, and they've got outside help and it meets the laws. So for that race onwards, until it's disproved, they can't use the new style parts on their car, so they can't go as fast and get the kind of bonuses of that, so they're then put back. This really annoys Sonny. Sonny ends up spending part of the race driving hard to the point he gets basically kind of taken out and smashed into a wall near the end of it. Then when he's in his medical bed and Ruben comes to see him, then obviously there's the realization that the incident that happened many years ago, he could have almost died. He's got loads of pins in his spine and stuff like this. And you kind of get foreshadowing towards that, but you don't get all of the specifics. And that essentially, he really shouldn't be driving. Ruben basically says, that's it, you're done. You're not working for me anymore. And then Sonny is basically left there in the hospital while the rest of the team go to, I think it's Dubai for the final race. As Sonny gets out of the hospital and goes to his van to obviously live the rest of his life wherever it is, there's a guy on the board that's been helping Ruben throughout all of this, and this is when you realise that he's the actual guy who leaked the information. He's trying to sell the company, and he basically wants to sell it but then run the new team, and he wants to bring Sonny in and kind of offers him this kind of backhanded deal. No, most people watching know that Sonny's never going to take it, but anyway, they go off, Sonny drives off, and you see as it leads up to the race, JP is now kind of taking the Sonny persona. He's taking everybody for a jog. He's kind of a lot more friendly with them and realizes, obviously, because he overheard Ruben having a go at Sonny in the hospital, because he came to see him to see if he was all right. And I think this is where they kind of then bond. There's a kind of realization. He matures a little bit, JP. Then essentially what happens, he's getting ready for the final race, and this is when Sonny turns up and says, look, I've got medical things to charge me. I never received my final paycheck. He did. He just ripped it up in half and says, look, I can still race for the team. It does. They race. And I'm not going to say how the thing ends, but whatever happens at the end of the season, Sonny goes on to newer things. Well, I will say they won. I won't say there's two drivers, so you have to make up your mind who won. Sonny goes on to different things. Joshua Pierce is left in charge of the team, and obviously with Ruben's taken further because it got renewed for 3 years, and that bloke on the board basically gets fired. The end. What did I think of this movie? I did enjoy this movie. I give it a 6.4 out of 10. I definitely feel it's 2 hours and 35 minutes. It definitely drags. By the time you get to the 2 hour bit, you are a little bit like, I get it. It has to tell a story. It's very beautiful. It's very nice. If you like Formula One and stuff like this, you will be in awe of it. There's some lovely shots and special effects and all this stuff and fireworks and everything. And I think it's really done well and clever about the cars. I think, how it is made is visually done. I quite like the story. For me, why I rated 6.4 is I just feel like there was missing something. There are elements that work well in there and the characters all work together. I think they're good. By the time the end of it, it kind of, and I don't know if it's the story of this person's career and we're like taking up one little point, and I don't know. I can't kind of put my place in it. As I say, I don't know if it is like the Sonny character. He just comes in, does something for a season, goes off, does something for a season, goes off, and because of this kind of distance he keeps from a lot of stuff, even though he has friends and relationships and stuff like this, that you don't get as emotionally invested in his character as much, or maybe there isn't as much of a connection, even though there is by the end of it respect between him and JP and a lot of other characters in the pit crew have all come together. I don't know. So the characters are really good. They're really well done. The acting's really well done. Visually, it looks really good. And if you love Formula One, I reckon it's be an amazing movie. But I said I really enjoyed it. It's just I don't know. I said it lagged a little bit, and I just felt like there was something missing. But I can't put my finger on it. Have you seen the film Formula One? Let me know your thoughts and feelings about it in the comments below. Otherwise, I've been Cypher Screen Time. If you want to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things you want to do, and I shall definitely see you in the next.